Now, the second question, to give you an impression of how, or a picture of how costly it is. Uh, okay, you see, I will just give you one example. Um, we have an unmanned aerial system from China that we call the Winglong 2. It carries, it's armed with a bomb and a missile, or two types of, armaments. That is bomb and then missile. It doesn't carry guns or cannons. Now, the missile, the cost of the missile, one, is $156,000. One. And the cost of the bomb is about $96,000. So a UAV takes off and it goes and it sees a couple of, and that is why these things are very complex. Now, how do you balance it? It's a very complex or delicate balance. If you see a couple of, even if it's a verified target, you see maybe 10, even 20 insurgents. Now you are taking maybe 2 missiles of $300,000 to neutralize 10 bandits or terrorists. If you look at it, yes, you want to achieve the mission, but at what cost? So it's really very, very expensive. That is just one platform, and it's similar for other platforms in the Air Force. Now, the cost doesn't stop at that. That is just the armament or the munition that the airplane carries. For any time that the airplane flies, you are looking at the cost of flying hour, because it's calculated, or you are flying towards overhaul or maintenance, because there are scheduled maintenance, let's say after every 20 to 25 hours, you have to carry out some scheduled maintenance, whether there is a problem or not. And so when you cost everything, consumables, the maintenance costs, the fuel costs and everything, you can get as much as 10, 20,000, depending on the airplane, 10, 20,000, even $30,000 per hour of operation of one airplane, depending on the airplane. The more complex, the more expensive. The faster, the more expensive. The bigger, the more expensive. So you scale it that way. But we have all sorts. We have the slow, we have the big, we have the complex, we have the simple. So when you combine all that, the cost for running and maintaining an Air Force is actually very, very huge. Very, very huge. So just to have an impression of how much. Many Nigerians are still losing their lives due to insecurity across, and we gave some statistics. I'm not sure how accurate those statistics are, but that's not the issue. Obviously, there has been a resurgence, particularly in the northeast, and quite a few people have lost their lives in the past 3 months or thereabouts. Now, we need to understand a couple of fundamentals. Now, generally, insurgencies take a very long time once they grow, and they take a very long time to solve, despite all the effort. So, it's a work in progress. You will recall that sometime in 2023, there was a lot of, and the media carried it all over also, that as far as who were concerned, Maiduguri was, on the Northeast theater was over, because there was virtually nothing happening. And that was when the Northwest banditry was picking up, and then we concentrated a lot of effort there, because apparently the impression was that the situation in the Northeast had gotten stabilized, got to a very minimum level. But then, of course, we saw that that is not the case. So it keeps, going and coming, and it's a complex environment. So, for example, there is a lot of limitation as to what you can do. I mentioned earlier that you need a lot of intelligence. So for us in the Air Force, we cannot, carry out operations with general purpose munitions, for example, because of the effect and the likelihood of collateral damage and all that. So it's a difficult challenge. we are doing what we can to address it. We also have our challenges, but I can assure you that we are doing everything that we can to make sure that the situation is abated until all nooks and crannies return to peace and prosperity. We are working jointly, and we have also come a long way as far as that is concerned, because this is something that requires a lot of joint effort. Of course, the Air Force alone, neither can the Army or any other single service is able to address the challenge alone. So we are working more closely than ever before with the other security agencies to be able to address this. One very important point that we have not been paying attention to in the past is that, and we have said it in a couple of fora, the fact is that anywhere you have insurgencies, it has been proven empirically through research that up to 70–75% of the solution lies in the non-kinetic approach. And only about 25% of internal security challenges or issues can be solved through kinetic means. So while the armed forces, and this is after studying virtually every spot in the world where insurgencies have taken place and what was done eventually, and so it's empirical, it's research, scientific research that was done. So that is properly established, So now, coming back to us, the military is doing a lot, but empirically it has been proven that we can only achieve 25%, irrespective of whatever effort that we put in. Now, the other aspect has to be done by what we call the whole of government and whole of society approach. And I think that is where we have to put in a lot of effort. Because even when the military goes in and is able to solve the problem, if this whole of society approach, which includes solving the problem from the root cause, not addressing the symptoms, then this problem will still recur, just like it has happened now. Once those other issues that have to do with the whole of government, whole of society approach are not addressed, no matter the success achieved by the military, it's just a matter of time, it's going to, the effect will be lost. And I think that is what we are seeing, particularly in the Northeast. So that aspect has to be very adequately addressed. And that is why even at our own level, like for us in the Air Force, we are doing a lot of effort at our own level. We cannot do it alone, but we are putting a lot of, playing our own part to make sure we have more robust civil-military relations. We're able to bring people close to us and then do a lot of civil-military activities, civil-military relations activities, including quick impact projects, medical outreaches, educational outreaches. Those are some of the things. But we can only do this much, But so every other person has to be involved in that, and that is, I think, the way forward in solving this problem. We have started engaging with a lot of the state governors in a lot of these areas where these things are happening. I think we're beginning to be able to convince them that that is the approach that they must also, or that is the lens through which they must look at the problems and therefore also play their own part to be able to address it.